Welcome to Nightmare Files. Tonight, I'll be sharing 4 chilling night shift horror stories, tales from people who worked late hours, alone, and encountered things they'll never forget. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and prepare yourself. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more true nightmares. Story 1, The Parking Lot Shadow. I worked the overnight shift at a 24-hour pharmacy on the edge of town. It was never busy past midnight, and the place always carried that strange silence, the kind that makes you hear your own heartbeat. Around 2 in the morning, I would usually step outside to take a break. The parking lot was always empty, the air cold and heavy. One night, as I leaned against the wall sipping my coffee, I noticed something strange. A shadow stretched across the asphalt. Long, distorted, like a man's figure cast by the street lamp. But when I looked around, there was no one there. The lot was empty. I told myself it was just my eyes playing tricks. But the next night, it happened again. The same shadow, only this time, it was closer to me. I tried to convince myself I was imagining things. But on the third night, I felt something different. A pressure, as if someone was standing just behind me. When I turned around, there was nothing but the cold night air. Yet, the shadow still stretched across the lot, as if it belonged to someone standing right beside me. That was the last time I ever took my break outside. Story 2, The Elevator Ride. My cousin worked security at a hospital in a small city. Hospitals are unsettling enough at night, the silence, the long empty hallways, the faint hum of machines behind closed doors. One night, around 3 in the morning, he got into the elevator heading to the basement. He pressed the button, the doors slid shut, and the elevator began to descend. But suddenly, the panel lit up on its own. And the elevator changed direction, climbing upward. It stopped on the 6th floor. The problem? The 6th floor had been shut down for years. When the doors opened, there was nothing but darkness. The lights had been cut long ago, and the hallway stretched out like a tunnel into blackness. My cousin thought about stepping out, but something stopped him. He stood frozen, staring into that black void. And that's when he heard it, slow, steady breathing. Not his own, but coming from the hallway. Then, just barely, he heard footsteps approaching. The sound grew louder, closer, until it felt like whoever or whatever was walking was just a few feet away. Before he could react, the doors slid shut. The elevator took him back down to the basement, where he stumbled out shaking, his heart pounding. To this day, he swears that if those doors hadn't closed, something would have stepped inside with him. Story 3, The Gas Station Stranger. Years ago, I worked the night shift at a gas station off the highway. It was the kind of place travelers would stop at for gas and coffee, but after midnight, it was almost always dead. One night, a man came in wearing an old hoodie with the hood pulled low over his face. He didn't say a word. He just stood in the back of the store, half hidden behind an aisle, staring at me. I asked if he needed help. Nothing. No movement, no response. He just tilted his head slowly to one side, like an animal studying its prey. Minutes passed. My nerves were on fire. Finally, he turned and walked out the door. No purchase. No words. When my shift ended, I checked the security footage, wanting to see if I had imagined it. But what I found was worse. On the screen, I saw myself behind the counter, but the man wasn't there. There was no one in the aisle. No one walking out. It was just me, standing alone in an empty store. Story 4, The Warehouse Footsteps. My uncle worked nights at a shipping warehouse. The building was huge, a cavern of steel beams, shelves stacked with pallets, and a silence that could make you lose your mind. One night, while doing inventory, he heard footsteps above him. Slow, heavy, deliberate. But the warehouse didn't have a second floor. At first, he thought it was the building settling. But then the footsteps moved, circling above him, speeding up, almost like someone was pacing the rafters. He grabbed his flashlight and shined it upward. The beam cut through the dust and shadows, but revealed nothing. Just steel beams and endless darkness. Then came the breathing. deep, ragged, echoing from somewhere in the rafters. He froze, his flashlight trembling in his hand. And then he saw it. For just a moment, a pale figure crouched between the beams. Its limbs were too long, its body twisted in ways that weren't human. It didn't move. It just stared down at him with black, empty eyes. My uncle dropped the flashlight and ran. He didn't stop running until he was outside, gasping for breath. He quit the job the next morning and never set foot in that warehouse again. These were 4 disturbing night shift horror stories. Working late might pay the bills, but sometimes, the night brings things far darker than we can explain. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, subscribe to Nightmare Files for more true horror stories. And remember, the scariest things are the ones waiting for us in the dark.